Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone, Rovi and MScribe. And today we're going to be talking about core versus knots.
Yeah, I've heard the
shoutings.
Yeah, it's another shit flinging contest, dude.
Yeah.
I thought we were done with that. I thought those bitmap days were over, dude. You know? It's kind of festered away from bitmap.
It goes beyond.
You know what? This is like a tried and true tradition of Bitcoin, isn't it? People just love to argue.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, that's just like humanity scale problem.
Yeah, it's just governance, dude.
Yeah, I've heard one side being labeled as communists.
Wow.
And then the other ones are, Nazis. Pretty good, right?
I guess.
Yeah, well, that's another.
You can't win either way, right?
Yeah, you're either a communist or a Nazi, dude. I mean, I don't know. It depends on your personal ideology, I guess. There's communism. It's pretty rampant these days.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know what core versus knots is about, it's about reducing bloat on Bitcoin. Let's just call it like that.
Right. But yeah.
Which already sets up it already sets the stage as bloat is bad.
Yeah, but explain what the underlying infrastructure of it, well, why you could even have a separation there, right? A core versus a non-core like protocol. Yeah,
so core and knots refer to Bitcoin nodes.
Right.
And Bitcoin nodes, there's roughly 23,000 of them.
Mm.
And to me, 23,000 doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a whole lot of nodes. And we're talking about Bitcoin here, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So what these nodes do is they package up transaction information following the core tenets of Bitcoin, 21 million, no double spends, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they package up in two different ways. Core says basically anything goes as long as you're following the protocols of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And then Not says, no, we're not processing any picture transactions,
right,
or anything that's not financial transactions.
Yeah, I remember this, dude.
So how does this work? So in Bitcoin, you have UTXO's unspent transaction outputs, and I can send you a Bitcoin, and then that's it. Like that's all the total encompassing transaction is one Bitcoin to you, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But part of a Bitcoin transaction are witness data fields where you can inject arbitrary data in there, text, images, whatever. You could put anything, JSON, anything.
Yeah,
and
which
so
we've enjoyed over the last couple of years, right?
Sure did.
We have a whole channel history covering
for 2 years,
basically the birth and proliferation of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. And I remember at some point along that timeline, this figure called Luke Dashjr was heavily, I guess, vilified as the opposing force.
Yeah.
But he seemed like a small voice at the time.
Well, he's a single developer, and he's the one who developed knots.
And he's behind the ocean mining pool, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, the movement behind Ordinals and Inscriptions was so loud, so vibrant, so it seemed paradigm shifting at the time, right? So anybody who was standing in opposition to that was easily crushed in the face of public opinion, right? There's clear demand for this stuff.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, basically 80 to 100 million inscriptions ensued.
Yeah,
during that time.
Fast forward to today, the movement has faded quite a bit.
It's still at 100.
Yeah, we're still at 100 million. Not much, robustness as it used to be. So the quiet voices of then have now become the loud voices of now. Right?
So you see.
Yeah,
we should have cut this out. So Luke Dashjr with knots, you can see the witness data field, and if there's data there, you basically filter them out because these are not financial transactions.
Yeah, and they're making the case, and really, it's a very interesting case, and the way they're going about it, very evangelical, very philosophical, ties to Bitcoin itself. What is Bitcoin, right?
Yeah,
and these JPEGers, these spammers is what they label them.
Yeah.
Us included. We're in direct opposition of the esoteric reality of what Bitcoin can be for humanity, right?
Yeah.
It's an actual threat vector that needs to be destroyed.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, and they have some points. There's some valid points on their side, but I think from from an argument standpoint, starting off the argument by calling the other side spammers is you're starting on the wrong foot.
Yeah, but it is per like your understanding of human nature, right? You want to really make the other side look like really bad people, right? In order to attract like people onto your side, like you've got to like, it's tribalism, right?
But there's some valid points to what they're saying.
Yeah, I know.
And so starting off by saying they're spammers is just you start pinging the emotional side of the argument,
correct,
rather than the practical side is what matters in the context of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so what do I mean by practical? So in the case of these inscriptions, they bloat the UTXO set, which makes it very hard to run a very cheap version of a node. And so if you're not a node participant, you're not part of this whole decentralization nature of Bitcoin. And if you run your own node, you can just broadcast your Bitcoin transactions to your own node, which gets propagated to the miners, or you have to rely on broadcasting your own transaction and hope that nodes pick it up and process it, right? So running your own node allows you to broadcast your own transactions. You don't have to rely on anybody. You trust your own self, and that's what running a node does. And if it becomes more and more expensive to run your own node, less and less people are going to do it, therefore centralizing the whole aspect of Bitcoin.
Yeah, so this introduces those philosophical like differences, right?
This is the practical argument, an objective argument of NATs.
Yeah, so how do you so you're saying just remove emotional triggers in order to come to like an actual sensible resolution to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not how we are, dude. Like, when does that ever happen, dude?
No, it never happens.
Have you observed politics?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad out there, dude.
That's why I'm on the side of physics, dude. I'm on the side of free and open and let the thing fly.
Yeah.
And if it gets more expensive, well, technology makes things cheaper. So just wait.
Yeah.
And things will be cheap enough for you to run your own node.
Yeah,
or spend the extra $150 to get a better hardware so you can run the node.
Okay, communist. You dang dirty communist. You're speaking sin.
Right.
In the context of Satoshi's original desires and his vision for new money systems, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You know what is against Satoshi's vision right now?
What?
Bitcoin itself. Why? Yeah. Because clearly the white paper says peer-to-peer cash.
Right.
Meaning we're supposed to be using this thing on a regular basis.
That's what they're saying. They're saying you JPEGers are in the way of that, right?
Yeah, but the JPEGers did not start this.
Right.
The store of valuers started this.
I see.
And in my opinion, I think the store of value narrative of Bitcoin is way better than peer-to-peer cash. Stronger.
Yeah, well, it's working, and it is currently the reasoning behind its institutional adoption.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an ideological separation there. It's like, what are the real motivations behind anybody doing anything within the very widely expansive ecosystem that is Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. In fact, the store of value narrative is so strong that it is the reason why Bitcoin has potentially a short lifespan, because as Bitcoin continues having, the fees to support the network is not happening. Why? Because it's supposed to be a store of value. And so a lot of people are not using Bitcoin transactions at all, or the main chain. So what is happening is hundreds of billions of dollars of inflows going into Bitcoin, none of it hitting L1 at all.
Yeah.
And therefore, less and less transactions occur on Bitcoin. And once Bitcoin has enough where the issuance of Bitcoin doesn't sustain the security budget of Bitcoin, now it becomes a threat vector for some state actor to come in buy up a bunch of mining rigs and attack the network.
I see you setting up the slam dunk for NAT,
Yeah. That's the real discussion we should be having.
And it is a discussion many are having, including ourselves, regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's per the understanding of why you don't want to stifle innovation in any capacity, right? Because
Yeah.
the potentiality for this subsidy or this security crisis not coming into reality is a direct result of this open canvas opportunity that is, injecting arbitrary data into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Using these core primitives,
Yes,
right, that they're so much against,
which thereby created transactions on Bitcoin and funded miners to continue securing the network. What was bad about that?
well, for one, it hasn't proven itself yet, right? So it's not.
Well,
like,
it did to a certain extent.
No, it is. Yeah, of course, it's viable. It's been demonstrated as such.
The only unviable aspect about ordinals is the fact that it requires people to continue creating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And those always have ups and downs. I mean, we've seen that throughout the cycles of cryptocurrency since it started.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's, again, it's not something. So the common pushback is like all this stuff are scams, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of it. Shit coins,
Yeah.
JPEGs, art, all this graffitiing over our like pristine rails of Satoshi world.
Yeah.
You cannot do that because, I mean, you bring no net gain, period. Not to Bitcoin, not to humanity.
Yeah.
You're just kind of taking advantage of Bitcoin's pristine nature to, execute on your griftathons. That's it. So therefore, like, we don't want it. We don't need it.
Right.
We need to mobilize in opposition of it in order to, like, completely eliminate it or any, again, possible vectors of resulting innovation that could come from it from ever happening.
And that was the exact same argument that people said about IPOs in the .com boom.
Yeah. So,
and most of those went 99% down. But then we had Facebook, we had Google, we had Amazon. There's some value actually generated from that era.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I included a Danny Yang tweet here that basically says the same thing. It's somewhere.
Yeah, it's at the end.
Yeah, you and Danny pretty much agree, right? You just don't
Yeah,
want
here
to
it is.
You just don't want to get in the way, guys.
In the 90s, most .com companies were pump and dumps. Most went to zero, but some were valuable long-term. Think Amazon and Google. Same with NFTs. Some will be valuable long-term, and NFTs as a technology will be important in the future of tokenization of assets, which I agree. Mm-hmm. NFTs are primitive, just like fungible tokens are.
Yeah, but so the Nazis would say, well, then go use Ethereum.
Yeah.
Or Solana. Or Base.
Or why not use the most decentralized, power hungry chain and long-term, asset of humanity?
Because you're making it harder for people in Venezuela to buy their coffee in the morning, dude. With their lightning channels.
You know what they should use? Stable coins. That's what they should use.
Yeah, but then you're perpetuating the nation state control over monetary systems, right? you're fucking up Satoshi's quest.
Yeah, but we maintain the store of value of Bitcoin, which doesn't actually need transactions.
You can see how this is like a never-ending loop, right?
Yeah.
It's just, this reminds me of politics and religion and all that stuff, dude. Which,
those are fun topics, dude.
Yeah, but then, people get really vitriolic in their beliefs and their convictions.
Yeah,
to the point where it turns into...
Yeah, people hate each other. Okay.
Potential violence.
But you know what happens is really monetary incentives like crop up. And those are the ones that make decisions, right? If you're a miner and you have to decide whether you run a Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin NATs, and what you're really doing is you're deciding, do I want to make more money or less money? Right? If people want to spend $1,000 for a monkey picture, I'm going to take the $1,000, right? And that is aligned with, first of all, securing the Bitcoin network, because now I have an extra $1,000 to continue paying the whole for my whole project here, and ultimately that's what drives what humanity ends up doing is incentives, and so I don't think there's much of a discussion here. And actually, there's a tweet. Was it at the end? Did I move it?
Yeah, there's a lot of tweets here that we're not going to get to.
Yeah, NOTs. So they represent roughly 19% of all Bitcoin nodes.
Yeah, so this means more and more people are, starting to side with, again, the interpretation that Bitcoin is purely only for money.
Yeah.
And everything else should be essentially censored.
So you brought this up. I was like, well, what's more interesting is of the Bitcoin nodes, how much of hash power does this represent? Mm-hmm. And so I did a little research, and even though 19% of nodes are running NOTs, they all represent about 1% of hash power.
Right.
So the miners are choosing Core, because it's really legacy software, and so it's easier just to kind of continue running the same software.
Yeah.
But right now, it's still 99% Core.
Right.
So
you're not, what?
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
You're not worried, eh?
Not worried at all.
Nothing to be concerned about? I don't know. I see 1% and I see festering possibilities here just because, and I don't think it's going to really have any real ramifications other than just ideological separation. Now, what can this snowball into like a contentious fork? Like it has these types of interfight events within the Bitcoin community.
Yeah, civil war. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened before, right? Can it happen again? Who knows, right?
Yeah, I just feel like at the end of the day is the miners are going to decide, I'll run whatever makes me the most money. I do not care about these ideologies.
Yeah, that's why nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
if clean transactions, if you want to call it that way, makes you more money, miners are going to run that software that makes them more money.
Correct.
And so I think the outcome is just going to be based on incentives here. So we have a tweet here by Adam, and we have a tweet that breaks down what Adam says, because I read it and it's not an easy read. I'm not sure why. I don't know if he was just like slinging it with one thumb there.
But look at that engagement, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see since he blocked me.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. No, yeah. I can see it. Yeah, man. So we're going to have to go deeper into this, I guess, on the podcast. So
yeah,
we're running out of time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got Leonidas here.
This is another. So, okay.
Our white knight, dude. He's here.
Yeah, the champion horse of the communists. Leonidas representing the JPEGers out there and the shitcoiners,
Yeah.
And
there's
setting rallying cries for war, essentially. Because I guess he made so there's like a 4-hour discussion amongst both camps. I haven't listened to it all. I listened to pieces of it, but this was like a notable section of it that some people are interpreting as like literally a call for war against Nazis if they get their way.
You could hear the emotional energy behind this audio clip here. So we'll link it in the description so you guys can listen. But yeah, this is, gets to the more emotional side rather than the practical side, which, humans will human.
Yeah. And then this is just a Nazi reacting, seeing like, see, I told you those JPEGers were bad people. Like, look at them making like an active threat.
Yeah, that's right.
Like if they don't get their way, like they're going to intentionally make this problem worse if they don't get. So yeah, I mean, mud flinging, monkeying about, whatever you want to call this.
Just humanizing.
Yeah, humans humaning. And therefore, we cannot wait for the OpenAI takeover,
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait for Terminator just to clean house.
God damn, you sound psychotic, dude. I guess we both do. But I mean, shit, if this isn't more evidences of that, we're definitely not proper stewards of the universe, dude.
No, we are
not.
Without
a doubt.
No, I prefer our overlords at AI to really make things easier for us, because it's going to be inevitable.
Then you better start saying thank you in your prompts, dude. That's all I got to say.
Sam says that stop saying thank you because it costs too much computational power.
Yeah, that's just a morality test. It's like,
it's true.
In light of that, will you still say thank you?
Yeah.
It's like that's the gatekeeping code, whether or not you get into the heavens.
That's how you get flagged.
Yeah,
for termination.
For non-termination.
Or for non-termination, correct, yeah.
If you're like a moral character, it's like, even though it's like, I just can't not be like a morally sound individual.
Right.
Therefore, or maybe you're right. Maybe it's like the future AI world prefers practical people over emotionally.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
So yeah,
Finally.
eradicate the sensitive ones.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I don't know. Pretty weird.
All right, the last tweet here does kind of break down the argument from a more practical sense, and there's a dialogue here which we'll also include. But that's it for the discussion, and you let us know. Are you guys on the side of core, or are you on the side of NATs? Do you prefer Bitcoin to be used only for money, or is it
Do you like freedom?
Yeah, do you like freedom?
Yeah.
All right.
It boils down to that.
Yeah, let us know down below. I appreciate you for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.